What a mess. A couple of months ago, this basement was completely unusable. But I've taken the vibe down here from abandoned house to creative home, and I spent almost no money doing it.
At the beginning of this year, things were in rough shape down here. It wasn't always like this, but last year was, well, messy. Life was messy, and the basement, as a symptom, took on a lot of things that hadn't found a home on top of the storage it was already used for. But I had already been scheming. There were ideas in the back of my mind for a new studio. After multiple setups in the past, some of them even down here, this time was going to be different. I'm different this time. See, I've been making music for nearly 2 decades, and I kind of burned out for a while. I'll share more of that another time, but suffice to say, I was ready to expand. Try new endeavors, repairs, drawing, photography, woodworking, gadget making, and I needed a space to support all that, and making music still.
But how?
The first thing was sorting out some storage. I made a whole episode on these shelves behind me a few weeks ago. I'll leave a link to that below if you want to check it out. But since that last episode, I put in these shelves from that same haul. I still got to get lots sorted in this area. And I built these shelves mainly from scrap. These are just mainly for some household storage along with those others. But it is amazing how much better it feels down here just getting things out of scattered piles.
With storage underway, I needed places to work. I flanked another shelf I built in the last episode with 2 identical workbenches. These started life as bunk beds in my childhood treehouse. I rescued them before it was torn down last summer.
This right side is my main work area. I added this shelf that I made a while back out of some old dresser drawers. I originally built it from a woodworking shop on the other side of this wall. I may do a tour over there sometime. If you'd like to see that, let me know. But anyway, I figured it would suit this little area better.
I also added this top. And the shelf above is the front door from my old treehouse. Add in a nice big cutting mat and some LED tape lights.
This area is awesome. It's honestly my favorite little spot in the whole studio build. I've already been working here, doing some like collage, mixed media kind of stuff, just getting some practice in, and it's been really fun. Over here, this left bench is more indeterminate in function so far. I've got my computer set up for now, but we're just going to kind of let this area develop as it wants to. The shelf up here was the headboard of my captain's bed that my dad built me growing up. You know, I actually think I may just be scavenging the scraps of my childhood and assembling them into some dream bedroom kid me would love. And I think that's great. We could all probably stand to be a little more like our younger selves sometimes.
The music production area is next. The table here was a work table from my grandpa's old workshop. The shelves, can someone get a running total of how many times I say shelves in this video? The shelves are made from 2x12s and 2x10s I had laying around. The 4 2x6s are the only wood that I actually bought for down here. I painted them just to add some color, and because the fresh wood really didn't look right up next to all this old wood down here.
Seriously, aside from these, the newest boards down here are probably 30 years old.
I'm still dialing in this setup, but it's all functional, so I'm going to live with it a while and see what needs to change.
Finally, that brings us to the work table, writing desk, presenting table, whatever else it becomes. I knew from the beginning of this build that I wanted a big table in this space for general use, and I had found these Herman Miller cubicle desktops by a dumpster a while back. They were still in great shape, so I couldn't just pass them by. There were a lot more, but you can only bring home so many treasures before you start having to admit to yourself you have a problem. These 6x6 legs are certainly overkill and way too expensive for a project like this. Luckily, I had them laying around in the backyard. I realize it might not be normal to have a stack of 6x6 cutoffs like this, but normal's overrated. They're always on the bottom, the ones you need. They were cut-offs from my mother-in-law's house edition. As an aside, using your own scrap is great. Get the most out of the money you spend on wood or other materials, but even better is using someone else's scrap, because then you're getting the most out of someone else's money. It's responsible for the environment and your wallet.
And the last actual purchase for the studio were the casters for this table so that I could roll it around wherever I need it or just get it out of the way if I'm working on a bigger project.
So what did I spend on this build? Well, let's round up and say 40 for the 2x6s on those shelves, 30 on that cutting mat, 25 for the casters on this table, bringing the total to $95. I did pick up this stool at a thrift store the other day for $3, but that still brings us in under $100 for the whole build. I'm also not counting screws and tools. I had all of that on hand. And the only tools I really used was a drill and a saw. I used a radial arm saw because that's what I have, but a hand saw would work fine, just a lot slower. Now, aside from money spent, I realized that not everyone has the space for a studio like this. So I'm very grateful that I do. But if you're wanting to make things, to start something, whether it's music or painting, woodworking, fiber arts, photography, writing, whatever, you can start doing something. Start scheming, make something, even if it's just a plan right now. Write it down, sketch it out, get working when you can. I can't wait to get working down here. Let me know if you have any ideas, because this place hopefully is just going to be an experiment that keeps evolving. I've already got some projects in mind that I want to bring you along for, so I hope you'll come along for the journey. It feels really good to be starting a new chapter. Heck, a whole new story. So until next time, thank you for watching. I'm Skylar, and welcome to Rumbelo Works. We're just getting started.